Tonight's pregame is presented by Lima Chevrolet Cadillac, the area's premier Chevrolet and Cadillac dealer in the greater Lima area. Serving Lima for over 100 years, we're proud to call this home.
Welcome to the Stroh Center here on the campus of Bowling Green State University for tonight's regional semifinal matchup between the Rossford Bulldogs and the Van Wert Cougars. I'm Nate Garlock alongside Mark Bagley. And Mark, that road to Dayton is getting shorter and shorter, but it's definitely not getting easier.
You're right, and tonight's matchup was a great matchup between two evenly matched up teams. It's going to go down to the wire tonight, and which team executes late is going to win the game.
Let's take a look at tonight's keys of the game, starting first for the Rossford Bulldogs.
First for Rossford, they got to make great transition defense, get back and build a wall. Number two, they got size with force. They got to control the paint. And number three, dominate the glass at both ends.
Van Wert has had a tremendous run through this tournament so far. What do they got to do tonight to keep that going?
For Van Wert, their three keys. Vorst, he's huge, he's 6'9". They played against that kind of size this year. Where's the help going to come from? Number two, attack the matchup 2-3 zone. And number three, win the backside rebounding war.
Only 2 victories separate these teams and a trip to the state tournament. And they'll be looking for that first victory here tonight. Don't go anywhere, because when we return, we'll have tonight's starters in the opening tip. You're watching boys high school basketball on WOSN. Back to the Stroh Center here at Bowling Green State University. Tonight's starters are being announced. We'll take a look at them as well. Starting first for the Rossford Bulldogs. First, take a look at these officials. Eric Schwab, Jeff Klaus, Clay Ehrman. Lots of experience on the floor behind the whistles tonight. Starting lineup for the Van Wert Cougars. Number 10, Garrett Gunter. Number 4, Luke Wessel. Number 15, Aiden Pratt. Number 0, Nate Phillips. And number 5, Carson Smith. For the Rossford Bulldogs, they're going to start number 21, Jake Morrison. Number 3, Wes Ellison. Number 22, Derek Vorst. Number 2, Brendan Revels. And number 20, Garrett Murphy. Van Wert, coached by Ben Laudick, 18-7, but a little bit of a misleading record. Those 7 victories have come by a combined 20 points. A lot of close games, and they have gotten a lot of those losses back, knocking off St. Mary's in the tournament, knocking off Defiance in the tournament. You know, so their record, especially in Western Buckeye League, looks a little bit like, oh, maybe they had a down year, but really doesn't tell the whole story.
No, it doesn't. When you have 5 losses by 2 points, 1 by 3, and the Defiance loss early on was by 7, and that was a game that they had the football leg. So Van Wert is hot at the right time at the regional level. Anything can happen. And again, you don't have to play your best every night, but for one night you have to play your best. And it may or may not be tonight for Van Wert, but it's been an incredible run to get to this point. And this is 2 evenly matched teams tonight, Nate, as we get ready for the start of this game.
As you take a look at the Rossford Bulldogs, coached by Brian Vorst, a 21-4 record, undefeated in conference play, as they played in the Northern Buckeye Conference. A couple of common opponents as well for both of these teams. So, and when you look at those common opponents and everything, like you mentioned, a very even matchup. The first game tonight went to Lutheran West, knocking off the 1 seed Sandusky, who came into tonight 23-1. But they came away with a big victory, shutting Sandusky down, so they await the winner of this game tonight. As you can see, Derek Vorst goes up against Pratt for the jump ball. Ball is in the air, and it's going to be controlled first by the Bulldogs. Derek Vorst is a big man as he will try to own that middle. But I'll tell you what, if you're going to have to play somebody with his size and strength, having to go against Austin Parks for the last 4 years definitely got you ready for this. Quick turnover for Rossford into the hands of the Cougars. They push it up into the front court. Off the glass and in. Number 5. Carson Smith gets the scoring started for the Cougars.
And that's what Van Wert needs to do tonight, is create turnovers. They're starting Carson Smith on the 6'9" Vorst, and that means Pratt can help.
3-point shot is up. That one's off target, but Rebels able to get his own rebound. Another 3-pointer on its way. That one's no good off the front of the rim. Ellison couldn't connect. And we're going to have a fight for the loose ball. Going to be a jump ball as Pratt had ended up on top of Vorst on the floor. Possession arrow does favor the Cougars, so they're going to get the basketball back here to try to expand this early lead.
And that's one of the keys for Van Wert. That was the backside war, and Pratt was involved in that, and he won it with a jump ball there with Vorst. Here comes the matchup for Rossford. Matchup 2-3 zone.
Down in the corner. Going to drive baseline, kicks it back out. Three-point try on its way. This one is good. Nate Phillips able to connect on the early three.
And if Phillips can make that shot, Van Wert's going to be hard to beat tonight because that's hard to defend.
Feed to the inside, double team coming against Force. Trying to fight through the contact, gets the shot up. But we're going to have a foul. We'll see who they call this one on. It's going to go on Pratt. It'll be his first.
And that'll be a key to the game tonight. Pratt's going to be the help guy early on, but he got a foul as the help guy there, and Van Wert cannot afford him to get in foul trouble tonight.
As you can see on the carry insurance instant replay, and honestly there was a lot of contact down there. The officials were letting them play as Carson Smith had come over to help Pratt, and it was just a quick reach in with the left arm is what got the whistle. Vorst able to connect on the first of his free throws.
And Vorst is a typical coach's son. He's a great passer. He's very fundamental. He's going to Indiana State next year, and he's really had an outstanding career playing for his father, Brian Vorst, who's from Kalida.
Vorst's second free throw is good as well. 5-2, Van Wert on top. Eric Gunter brings it up for the Cougars. Down to the corner to Pratt, moves it back around towards the top.
The key against the zone is to get player and ball movement.
Saw Smith try to run the baseline, was trying to get it down to Gunter on the opposite corner, ends up out of bounds off of the Bulldogs. 6:24 left to go here in the opening quarter. Inbound, trying to go underneath the basket to Pratt. The Bulldogs able to take this one off.
Both teams an early turnover. And that happens to get the nerves out, and both teams have had one each.
Drive to the baseline, easy layup off the glass as Brendan Revels gets his first points of the night.
And he's been playing really good there. You saw the hesitation move. He can go right or left, and you saw that right there. He curled off that, went left.
Gunter almost lost the basketball, able to get his dribble, get it into the hands of Phillips. Phillips with the right hands, pushes it down into the corner. Pratt comes out to get it. He's going to work against the double team, fights through some traffic. Got a layup, got to look at it, but couldn't get it to go down.
And the size of Vorst affected that shot there.
Here's Morrison up at the top, handing it off to Revels. Revels waiting for the offense to get set. A little miscommunication there from Rossford, but now they're set. Ellison drops it back up to Vorst up top. Revels going to drive with the left hand, almost lost the dribble, had to gather it back in, down into the corner. You can tell the offense wants to run through the hands of Brendan Revels, especially here early. They can get him going. That'll open stuff up on the inside for Vorst. Van Wert doing a nice job on defense here in the early going. Three-point try is up. That one off the glass, no good. Pratt with the rebound. Aiden Pratt brings it up, drops it off. Three-pointer on its way. That one's good.
An early offense was important there for Van Wert. It's hard to guard Pratt.
And an answer on the other end for Rossford.
You know, depth perception is an issue here, and that was a depth perception three that happened to bank in. It was way off, but the luck of Rossford there on that. The corners and the wings are really hard with depth perception for high school kids who haven't played in arenas like this.
Gunter moves back around top, works against Vorst. Pratt tried to drive, gets cut off, so kicks it back into the corner. Here's Phillips, down to Smith. As the Van Wert offense right now just looking for some space.
And Van Wert's going to need to get player movement. They're getting ball movement right now, but player movement is key against this matchup. The corners are usually open.
Smith's going to drive, hands it off to Pratt, who comes cutting into the lane, able to get this one up for two.
And Van Wert has started out on fire against this 2-3 match.
10-7. Van Wert on top. Vorst underneath, left all alone for the easy layup was Ellison. And that's just because of all of the attention that Derek Vorst commands.
Well, what Rossford does is they put a shooter number 20 on the backside, and then that allows 3 and 12 to roam, and it's amazing. The top 12 players for both teams, all seniors.
Back to a 1-point game, 10-9. Cougars still on top. Pratt gets it over to Smith. He's going to let another three-pointer go. That one rattles out, no good. Rebound comes down to Rossford. Morrison waiting for Rebels to come up, able to get it back into his hands. He moves around. Thought about the three-pointer, decides to get rid of it. Murphy feeds Vorst down low. Vorst was trying to look off the defense that time, making him think he was going to try to find Rebels down in the corner, and then looked one more time for Ellison down low, ends up out of bounds off the Cougars.
And Rossford's exclusively 6 men, all seniors. Van Wert will go 8 tonight with 6 seniors and 2 juniors.
Number 12, Brandon Swope, has come into the game for the Bulldogs. Here's Rebels working up top. Schaefer trying to play defense, but Rebels only needs a little bit of space, and he cashes that one.
Yeah, the height factor there with Schaefer and Rebels. Rebels 6'3", is going to be a factor if that's a matchup for Van Wert.
Rossford has their first lead of the night. They're on top 11-10, 2:20 left to go in the opening quarter. Pratt gets it down to Smith. Smith goes baseline, drops it back into the other corner. Three-point try up, that one's off. Rebels with the rebound.
And you saw the example of the corners. It's hard to get your depth perception.
The big man, Vorst, steps out for the three-point try. That one's no good. Pratt comes up with the rebound. Another three-pointer up. Profit connects.
And that three-pointer from the corner looks awful familiar for Van Wert, and Profit hits another one. Van Wert 3 of 5 from 3 early on.
Back out to a 2-point Van Wert lead. Vorst down low, works against Smith. Just tries to go up and under, lost it on his way up. And we're gonna have a foul as Derek Vorst is gonna go back to the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken free throw line.
And Vorst was really patient there. Usually when he goes to the middle, he passes. That time, he hesitated, and his height advantage over Smith was just really too hard to overcome, and he had to foul.
Vorst lines up his first free throw. It's on its way, and it is good. Another substitution coming into the game. Van Wert brings Luke Wessel back in as Carson Smith will take a seat for the first time tonight. So Rossford pulls everybody off the line for this free throw. Confident that Vorst would make it, but he rattles that one out.
And they've done that all year on free throw lines. They don't put anybody there. They want to get their 2-3 match set, and they've done that again. Another storyline of the tournament has been Rossford has only given up 22 points a game in the tournament so far. And Van Wert's shooting them out of that right now.
That shot is off for Profit. Going to come down. Rossford, they're going to try to push the pace. Three-point try up. Looks like maybe Gunther might have got a piece of that one. Rossford able to get the offensive rebound. Going to let the offense get reset. So far, Van Wert shooting very well on the night. 55% from the field, 50% behind the lead Kinsel three-point line. Staying pretty even with rebounds as well, as Rossford has 6, Van Wert with 4. Morrison gonna lay it up with the left hand, and that one's good.
And he's a phenomenal athlete. He made a really good move there off a curl cut because you can't help off Vorst, and very good offense by Rossford there.
14-13, Van Wert with the basketball here with 20 seconds left to go in the opening quarter. We're gonna have a whistle. This one's gonna be out of bounds underneath the basket. Foul is gonna be on 21. That's gonna go on Jake Morrison. It's his first, team's first.
It's been a clean first quarter here with only one turnover by both teams. There hasn't been a lot of clock stoppage, and the score would indicate that as well.
Inbound ends up in the hands of Profit. Gets it back out to Phillips. 20 seconds. Here's Pratt, gonna pull it back out. Guarded by Murphy. 10 seconds left to go here in the quarter. Phillips takes a look at the clock. Schaefer launches a three-point try. That one's no good. Tipped by Pratt, no good. Last second heave is no good, and that is going to bring the first quarter to a close. After one, Rossford has the 1-point lead, 14-13. We'll step aside and be back on WOSA. Welcome back. Tonight's scoreboard is presented by Laudix Jewelry, your family-owned and operated jeweler for over 70 years. Visit them at their Van Wert store or online at laudix.com. I'd also like to thank tonight's three-point sponsor, Lee Kinsel. Score big with Lee Kinsel on Irving Road in Van Wert. Take a look at our pre-owned specials at leekinsel.com. Rossford will begin this quarter with the basketball. Nate Garlock alongside Mark Bagley. Fast pace there in that first quarter. Like you mentioned, a pretty clean quarter as well, as Van Wert got off to a hot start, cooled off a little bit there towards the end, but kept this one close.
Yeah, the stats would indicate that right now.
Another three-pointer from the Lee Kinsel three-point line. Number 4, Luke Wessel, able to connect.
4 for 7 from 3 right now, and that's been a huge key for Van Wert.
Another fight down low. Van Wert has done a tremendous job with the double team on Derek Forrest, as they have played him very tight but not fouled. That's going to be a loose ball. Good hustle by Forrest, but it's going to go back to the Cougars.
Great play by Smith there to wall up, and then they had the help with Van Wert's biggest player, Pratt, at 6'5", and that's the scouting report right there. And so far, the difference is Rossford is 1 for 6 from 3. Van Wert 4 of 7. That's the X factor right now, why Van Wert's up 2.
Here's Pratt, back to Phillips. Phillips connected on a 3 earlier tonight. Gunner's going to try to go baseline, loses it out of bounds, going to go back to the Bulldogs.
And Gunner's been a huge key for Van Wert in this tournament run. He's played great. The ball hasn't been in his hands much against this zone, and just lost it out of bounds there, but dead ball turnovers are okay because you can defend.
So Rebels one more time working around the perimeter. Gunner almost comes away with a takeaway. They love that high ball screen with Vorst and Rebel. Rebel gets to the left side, has to get rid of it. Gets it back up top to Murphy. Works it over to Ellison.
Another amazing stat. Murphy has only attempted 10 twos all year. He's a three-point specialist, and Van Wert's chasing him.
Ellison works against Pratt, puts this one up, and it is in. Wesley Ellison with his 4th point of the night makes this a tie game.
And that's a bonus for them because he's only averaging 4 on the year, and so when those kind of things happen, that makes for great things for Rossford.
Extra pass over to Phillips. He's going to let the shot go, and that one's going to be no good. You saw Smith go up high to try to get that rebound, but Rebels able to come down with it. Force to the inside, kicks it back out. Ellison's going to let the three-point try go. That one's no good. As you can see right now, Van Wert is okay with some of these guys taking these shots. They are not going to let Vorst beat them on the inside, though. And Smith comes down on the other side. Carson Smith with another big three-pointer, as Smith now has 8 on the night.
And he's guarding Vorst. He's hitting shots, and that's been huge for the Van Wert Cougars here early on, making threes.
Vorst trying to get going. Van Wert's defense walling him up. They have to give the extra pass. Three-point shot's going to be no good. So right now, the defensive strategy from the Cougars is paying off, as they look like they are frustrating the Bulldogs here in the early going.
They've really played their keys well, and that's their best shooter from the outside, Murphy. But again, the depth perception is big when you haven't had a lot of shots, and his shots are usually 3, so that's tough to get going that way.
Van Wert brings it up, slows things down a little bit on offense. See number 23, Connor Campbell, has come into the game for the Cougars. Pratt's going to pull up for 2. That one's good. Aiden Pratt, mid-range jumper goes down, and they extend this lead to 5.
And that's Pratt's sweet spot right there. He's a really good 15 to 17-foot jump shot shooter.
Rebels loves going to the left side of the basket. You see why right there, as he's able to get that one to go down.
And both teams shooting incredible. Van Wert 57% and Rossford 47%. So that's really been a factor here. Both teams lights out.
Gonna have another foul on the floor. Didn't quite catch who that one was on, but the basketball is going to stay in the hands of the Cougars. Nice job working through the middle of that defense. Shot is up. Smith can't connect. So Campbell fly in there trying to get that rebound. That one was no good. Loose ball was going to be last touched by the Bulldogs as it goes out of bounds. So Van Wert's going to be able to maintain possession.
And Campbell's Van Wert's 8th man, is a phenomenal athlete, and he really can do a lot of good things for them athletically. Kept that ball alive there, offensive rebound.
You know, and the fact that here we are in the second quarter and Campbell is into this game, I think really shows the growth of this Cougar team over the season. Where early the big knock on them was there wasn't going to be a whole lot of depth. They didn't really know who they're going to be able to bring on the bench, especially in crunch time, and rely on to give them quality minutes. But now you got Campbell, 8th guy off the bench here in the second quarter of a regional semi, and they were really counting on those guys and those bench guys to come in, make good decisions, give them quality minutes without any sort of drop-off.
Yeah, at the start of the year, it was like Van Wert's 5, and then who else? And it became 6, then 7, and the tournament run now 8. And so they've been 8 strong, and that's what allowed them to get to this point.
Ellison pulls this one back out. Rebels was trying to go down a little divorce. They do get it to him. Long pass. Shot is up. That one's no good. As Morrison is continuing to struggle from the three-point line. Gunter has that one taken away. Ends up in the hands of Ellison. Rossford had a free man running in Rebels, but did not quench him, so they're going to have to slow this one down. Murphy for 3, and just like you said, he had no space. Did not look like that was going to be a quality shot, but he drained it.
And he's had over 80 on the year, and that's what he shoots. And we're all knotted up with about 3 to go here in the half.
Gunter now going to move around into the paint, gets rid of it. Smith tries to look off, gets it back into the hands of Phillips. Double team coming as Van Wert continues to try to work the inside of this zone from the Rossford Bulldogs. They continue to shoot the way that they have from behind the line. There's no need to go inside. Pratt lets one go. That one's good. Right on cue, Aiden Pratt with a three-pointer from the Lee Kinsel three-point line.
7 for 12, and again, as close as this game is, that's been the X factor.
Rebels gathers his basketball back up, almost lost his dribble, but ends up putting that one in. And Brendan Rebels is doing everything he can to keep his team in this one.
And amazing here, through 18 games, Van Wert was shooting 30% from the 3 line, and it kind of, the light switched the last few games of the year plus the tournament. Last 7, they've been about 50% from 3.
Van Wert with the 1-point lead. Gunter with the floater in the lane.
And that's huge for Garrett to see the ball go through the hoop. He's an integral part of this team, and that was good for Garrett to get that basket. Right now we're just exchanging blows back and forth. 2 minutes left to go in the half.
Rebels lets a three-pointer go. That one's no good. Gunter goes up high to get it. 1:45 left to go here in the half. Dropped off the films, back up top to Pratt. Pratt looks to drive, kicks it back out. Extra pass. Here's Wessel going baseline. Nice job by Gunter going up high. This one's going to be tipped by Murphy. Phillips able to gather it back in for the Cougars. Van Wert now is going to slow things down and get their offense reset.
They're going to run a set here to try to get a look in the corner. Double high ball screen, get the ball to Pratt in the corner.
Gunter went right into the teeth of that defense, and he's going to get fouled for his trouble. So Wesley Ellison is going to pick that one up. That'll be the 3rd team foul for the Bulldogs, so probably not going to get into bonus territory for either team here in the half.
And really this has been an even first half. The difference has been Van Wert's three-point shooting.
Hand off back to Smith. Smith down into the corner. Pratt got his defender off the line, found an open space, and a great decision by Aiden Pratt. As soon as he had his defender off his feet, he had a wide open look at an easy layup, and he took advantage. 28-23, under a minute left to go here in the half. And we're going to have a blocking foul against Nate Phillips. Take a look at the Carry Insurance instant replay. Aiden Pratt's three-point try a little bit earlier here in the quarter. And then as he drives a baseline looking to finish at the rim, just a great decision by Aiden Pratt.
And he's used to finishing over big guys like Parks from St. Mary's. He just did it again.
Here's Morse. Van Wert has done a great job of keeping him quiet here in the first half. 40 seconds left to go. Rebels is going to pull this one out. Looks like Rossford. Looked like maybe Rossford was going to wait for the last second shot, but now looked at the bench, got some instructions, and they're going to run. Floater in the lane is good as Jake Morrison gets two more.
And that's where he's best, curling, driving. He's really athletic. He hadn't shot it well from the outside, but he's been really good on the curl. And Van Wert will get the last shot here, and they've got Profit in that corner that we've seen him make a few shots before. Double high ball screen coming, turn the corner.
Here's Profit for three. That one's no good. Pratt fights for the rebound, no good. And it'll stay here with Van Wert, and 1 second is left on the clock. As you see on the Carry Insurance instant replay, Jake Morrison just doing a nice job of splitting the defense to get that floater to go.
I think Van Wert may have caught a break there on that rebound.
Yeah, I think you might be right, and they're going to try to see if they can't cash that.
Here comes a lob right to the basket.
Here. Here's Smith, catch and shoot, fall away three, and that one's off the front of the rim. So 2 quarters of play have passed, and as we head to the locker room, Van Wert is on top, 28-25. We'll step aside, and we'll be back with the Lausch Chiropractic halftime adjustments when we return on WOSN. Welcome back. Our halftime adjustments are presented by Lausch Chiropractic and Lausch Chiropractic and Weight Loss offers area residents good health through chiropractic care. Welcome back to the Stroh Center. We are at halftime where Van Wert is on top at 28-25 over the Rossford Bulldogs. I'm Nate Garlock alongside Mark Bagley. And Mark, as we take a look at some of these first half numbers, you know, it's been pretty even, down both sides from both teams in pretty much almost every aspect of the stat column.
Yeah, the biggest difference right now is Rossford is 2-11 from 3, and Van Wert is 6 of 14, and that last one was a desperation one, so really 6 of 13. And some adjustments, I think, for both teams, from that. You don't always make shots, but, the keys for Rossford coming in, their transition D has been good. Controlling the paint, pretty good job there, but dominating the glass at both ends really hadn't happened. There hasn't been a lot of offensive rebounds, so they've got to make some shots and get Vorst going. Right now, he has 0 field goals. And Van Wert's game plan has been very good to double him and bring help from Pratt. So they have to do a little bit better job. For Van Wert, I don't think anybody expected them to hit 6 threes against this defense, but that's been a huge key. And they've been even on the boards for the most part, which is I think Van Wert wanted tonight. And then they've attacked the matchup 2-3 very well by ball and player movement, and they've gotten open looks. And that's really the difference in a 3-point game. And there weren't a lot of fouls, not a lot of turnovers, so it's going to be all little things now. What adjustments? The Rebels had 11. What adjustments will you make on him? Because he's been the unguardable player so far for Rossford. And for Rossford, how are they going to adjust to Pratt? Pratt likes the ball in the middle of the floor, and he's really controlled that middle area of the lane. And so it's going to be a chess match here, and we'll see what kind of adjustments. I think the first 4 minutes will be really key for both teams here in the third quarter.
Halftime is just about over as we have 1 half left to go to determine who will go on to play for that regional championship. You have been watching our halftime adjustments presented by Lausch Chiropractic and Weight Loss. Lausch Chiropractic and Weight Loss offers area residents good health through chiropractic care. We will step aside, and when we return, we'll have the third quarter here on WOSN. Welcome back. Tonight's instant replays are provided by Carry Insurance in Grover Hill. Call or stop by to see if Carry Insurance can assist you with your insurance needs. Tonight's timeouts are brought to you by Metzger Financial Services, helping you plan your financial future. Visit MetzgerFinancialServices.com. Nate Garlock alongside Mark Bagley here at the Stroh Center on the campus of Bowling Green State University. Regional semifinal matchup between the Van Wert Cougars and the Rossford Bulldogs. As this third quarter is under play, Van Wert will begin with the basketball.
I think they're running special here for Pratt to start the third quarter.
There's Smith down in the corner. He's going to work his way back up top, trying to direct traffic. Gunther down into the corner again. Pratt going to line up the three-pointer. That one rattles in and good. It's almost like you've seen this once or twice, Bart.
Yeah, and what Van Wert has noticed in this matchup, 2-3, the corners are soft. And when you get ball reversal, you can get shots from the corner.
Rossford with their first possession here of the half. In the hands of Rebels. He had a big first half with 11. Forrest looking to get going, can't get it going on the inside, so he shoots from the outside. Big three-pointer by Derek.
That's a huge shot. That's what he can do at 6'9", is go outside.
Gonna have another whistle on the floor. This one is gonna go on number 20, I believe. No, actually it's number 2, excuse me. Brendan Rebels is gonna pick up the foul. As you see on the carry insurance instant replay, Forrest with a great shot to get that one to go down. And then underneath on the other side, sends that back. Gunter stays with it, can't get the layup to go down.
Little plays like that, the offensive rebound missed layup and turnover. Van Wert in transition, that's what they want to do right here.
Gunter pulls it back, gets it in the hands of Phillips. Phillips finds Gunter, then work back towards the top. Van Wert has done a nice job moving the ball around the perimeter, trying to free up some space.
Here comes their action again in the corner. It's really hard to guard to run two guys there.
Smith lets the three-pointer go as Van Wert continues their hot shooting from behind the Lee Kinsel three-point line.
And what's happened, they're putting the guy in the corner and they drag another guy right behind him, and you can't guard both. In a matchup 2-3, and Van Wert is just killing them on that play. Twice this half already.
Forrest working against the double team, throws this one up as he hits the floor, no good. Going to be gathered up but poked away. Smith can't control it. Morrison drops it off to Forrest. Forrest, head fake, kicks it back out. Rebels now is going to try to work it down low. Gets to the baseline, drops it off. Extra pass to Ellison. He lets the floater in the lane go. No good. Pratt tries to fight for the rebound. Going to be last touched by him and stay with the Bulldogs.
And Van Wert's okay giving Ellison that shot. There's the drag three again, and if they don't adjust to that, they'll keep on running it over and over with Smith and also Pratt.
So 2 3-pointers by Van Wert here to open up the third quarter. They've extended their lead to 34-28. Morrison going to take a three-pointer. That one's no good. Nice job by Pratt to mark out that time, let that one go out of bounds. We're going to have a timeout. Rossford wants to take the Metzger Financial Services timeout and talk about it. We'll step aside and be back on WOSN. Welcome back. Our scoreboard is presented by Laudix Jewelry, your family-owned and operated jeweler for over 70 years. Visit them at Van Wert store or at their Van Wert store or online at laudix.com. I'd also like to thank tonight's three-point sponsor, Lee Kinsel. Score big with Lee Kinsel on Irving Road in Van Wert. Take a look at our pre-owned specials at leekinsel.com. Rossford wanted to take the early timeout as they have seen Van Wert come out and continue that hot shooting from behind the Lee Kinsel three-point line. And they're getting it done in contributions from just about everybody on the floor.
Yeah, their balance has been really good, led by Smith and Pratt. But they're all making plays right now defensively as well. And they're making Rossford settle for tough, long shots. Even Vorst three. The last three by Morrison. Those are tough contested shots that, as the legs go and as the depth perception comes, those are hard to make.
So we'll see what kind of adjustments Rossford has made on defense here, as I'm sure they do not want Van Wert to get another uncontested three-point try up.
Here comes the drag again. Now they've adjusted a little bit to it now.
Long pass to Phillips, extra pass down in the corner. Here's Wessel. Gets it back up top, works against this 2-3 zone.
It'll be interesting to see what Coach Vorst talked about at timeout. They made the adjustment on Van Wert's set, and Van Wert, we can be content here to be patient. And they want to get them out. This is what they did to Defiance. They spread them out and beat them off the dribble.
Wessel has to get it back up top. There finally was a little bit of space in that defense, but Phillips not able to hold on to the basketball.
Long arms of Rossford got him there.
Rebels for three. That one rattles out. Rebound comes down to Van Wert.
That's a good shot for Van Wert because, again, a contested three.
Smith kicks it over. Gunter, he's going to try to drive. He's going to get tripped. Rebels is going to pick up his second foul. At least the official called the trip, but when you take a look at the Gary Insurance's replay that time, it doesn't look like their feet got tangled up as Rebels tried to go with the poke from around the back. Not sure if Smith maybe got tangled up with his own feet. As you see Vorst just reach out and poke that one out of bounds. That wingspan of his is impressive.
It is, and Van Wert has seen this before with Parks, and Vorst's wingspan this is long.
Profit for three from the corner. That one's no good. As Van Wert that time looked like they had gotten Rossford sleeping. Not able to connect though.
Yeah, Rossford was very fortunate because they were frozen on that out of bounds play.
Rebels works through the high screen. Gets it back over to Morrison. Morrison, he goes with the left hand. Morris going to take the long shot again. He leaves this one short. Pratt comes up with the rebound.
And Rossford continues to settle for jump shots, and that's exactly what Van Wert wants to happen. Again, look for Van Wert to spread Rossford out. Use the whole floor and use their athleticism off the dribble.
Phillips works it down low into Pratt. Pratt comes free for the turnaround. That one's no good.
That's Pratt's sweet spot. We've seen both teams here recently. Everybody's going short, but they're taking tough shots too.
Morrison head fake, tries to drive in. Gunter able to get his hand on that one as Pratt, though, could not save it from going out of bounds.
Good hands by Van Wert there. Out of bounds play. Most of their plays go toward Vorst on the out of bounds with his size. And again, he's got a huge size advantage, 6-7 inches on Smith, and Smith has done a heck of a job.
Three-point tries on its way, no good. Campbell, just checking into the game, comes up with the rebound.
Van Wert continues to get them to settle. The 6 point, it's been 34-28 for a long time.
Extra pass. As Pratt decides to pass that one up, he gets it over to Smith as now Gunter with the basketball moves it up around midcourt. Van Wert right now more than content to let time run. They have this 6-point lead. We're under 3 to play here in the third quarter.
This is where Garrett Gunter's really good. He has turned it over.
Gunter that time got going just a little bit too fast, got himself tripped up, ended up on the floor. Rossford gets a turnover. Vorst wanted the basketball, but decided not to take the shot, so Rebels are going to come over and get it. Guarded by Campbell. Murphy. And we're going to have a foul as Profit is going to get called for the hand check. A couple of substitutions coming back in. See Nate Phillips checks into the game, as does Luke Wessel.
Again, fouls haven't been an issue all night. Van Wert hadn't shot a free throw yet tonight. And there hadn't been many. There's only been 3 fouls called this first almost 6 minutes of the third quarter. So that really isn't an issue right here. Isolation with Rebels.
Rebels got cut off. Good defense by Phillips. So he tried to go down to the corner, but no teammate was there. Another turnover for the Bulldogs.
And what Phillips did a great job there is he kept his shoulder squared to him and made him make a tough pass. Turnover.
That was one of the ones where Rebels didn't know if anybody was there. He was just kind of hoping in that set that somebody had found their way into the corner.
And there's been a lot of empty possessions here in the third quarter. It's been 34-28 for a long time.
Well, ever since that timeout by Rossford, their defense has really stepped up. They've made a good adjustment. They're forcing Van Wert to take some shots that they don't want to take. But also, we've seen a couple where, especially that last time down, Pratt got the look that he wanted, just not able to connect.
They're really in more of a man defense now. But again, they pass them off to the next person. But Van Wert's going to spread them out, and this is when Gunner can be really effective.
Profit thought about that three-point try for a second, but Rebels closes out quickly. So Van Wert pulls it back out. Here's Pratt, works against Vorse, going to take him off the dribble. Tries to get it in, not sure how he got that one up, but left it short.
And there's been a lot of contact all night both ways. There hasn't been a lot of fouls called. They've been consistent on that call. Really good move, couldn't finish it under pressure.
And if I'm Van Wert, I don't want those whistles to start getting called either, especially with how they have to play Vorse down low.
They're being very physical, and Pratt's always right there.
Here's Vorse into the lane, does a great job finishing at the rim with the dunk as he gets his first two from the field.
And he split the double, and that may wake up Vorse. That was a really good move, and this last minute of the third quarter is going to be huge for both teams.
34-30, Van Wert on top, 45 seconds left to go here in the third. Phillips with the basketball, works against Murphy. Waits for directions to come from the bench. Now Pratt goes over, hands it up to Gunner. Final 30.
And both teams have cooled off considerably here in the third. We're below 50% now.
And we're going to have an illegal screen against Phillips. Basketball is going to go back to Rossford. So you can check out the Carry Insurance instant replay. Vorse just being strong down low, splitting the defense of Van Wert, and finishing high above the rim.
And all the contact here, that was a really tough call on Van Wert. And again, this end of the third quarter is going to be crucial because they're going right back to Vorse right now.
Rebels pulls it out. The Rossford crowd comes to their feet. The Van Wert crowd doing the same. Final 10 here of the third. Rebels comes, gets the basketball, works against Phillips. Rebels trying to direct some traffic, looking for the screen. Goes with the left, guarded tightly by Phillips, and a great job by Nate Phillips. Great defense, got his hands on the basketball without picking up the foul, and that brings the third quarter to a close. So take a look at the Carry Insurance instant replay. Just kept that right hand up there, followed it all the way, and made sure the clean shot didn't get made. We're going to step aside. Van Wert on top. We'll be back with the fourth quarter on WOSN. Welcome back. Tonight's instant replays are provided by Carry Insurance in Grover Hill. Call or stop by to see if Carry Insurance can assist you with their insurance needs. Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken in Lima, Walpock, and Delphus are tonight's free throw sponsor. Call Lee's for all your catering needs. Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, home style happens here. Talk about Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken in that free throw line, and nobody so far has made it outside of a couple of trips by Vorse there in the first quarter.
Yeah, and we start this fourth quarter, 10 seniors on the floor. There's been 4 free throws, all by Vorse. That's it. This game has been very physical. They haven't called much. It's going to be interesting to see how this fourth quarter plays out.
Rossford will begin the fourth with the basketball as they're down 4. Ellison works it back up top as Rebels comes and gets it as he has all night long.
And at some point in this quarter with 1 foul, Pratt's going to have to guard Vorse. They know that going into the game tonight, and he probably will at some point.
And another tremendous defensive stand by Phillips as he is taking that challenge to Rebels personally. 2 big stops on back-to-back possessions.
Yeah, and Rebels had 11 in the first half, and what Phillips has done a great job. Look at his shoulders. He stayed square, and it's 2 really good athletes, but Nate has watched a lot of film to get to this point to watch what he does.
Here's Vorse, kicks it out. Rebels for 3. That one's short. Wessel able to gather in the rebound.
And all the shots right now are short, and when you have 10 guys that play a lot of minutes, that's what happens in a very intense physical game. Things start going short. Who has the legs to finish the game, Nate? That's going to be a key tonight.
Pratt with the basketball up top. Murphy comes up, so he's going to hand it off to Smith.
And Van Wert needs to keep on attacking. They can't hold that, the ball, and I think run their man stuff and run their action against this defense.
Both offenses were very cold there in the third quarter. Just a 5-point quarter for Rossford, a 6-point quarter for Van Wert. And I think a lot of that has to do with what you were just talking about, you know, as they just kind of holding it. They've gotten out of rhythm. When these teams have been able to get up and down the floor and run, that's when we've been seeing the scoring. But now that they've kind of slowed things down a little bit, especially with the adjustments that Rossford has made on defense, Van Wert really struggling right now to find their footing offensively.
Yeah, they are. And again, that's only 3 team fouls on Rossford, 2 on Van Wert. They're trying to find the right mix now. They're putting a shooter back in, and A.J. Profit. And it's going to be, again, which team makes that final adjustment. Because right now it's come down to who can get the easier shots. His legs are going.
Phillips has the basketball now. He's going to pull it back out. Van Wert's looking for that space. Gunter going to work off the screen. Decides to pull it back out. Van Wert's going to reset. Ellison comes out, guards him tightly. Gunter feeds it down low. Great job by Profit to run the baseline as he comes free and gets the 2.
A clinic by Gunter there. He felt the pressure, went right hand. His head was always up. A perfect bounce pass, the backside layup.
Back out to a 6-point lead. Here's Vorse down low, works against Smith. Smith has just been phenomenal defensively, working against him all night long. And all the great defensive plays so far that Phillips has made. That time he's not able to get his hands on the basketball, as you see on the Carry Insurance instant replay. Actually, it looks like he did get the ball, but as the follow-through caught Rebels.
Yeah, and if you watch Nate's approach there, his shoulders weren't square, and Rebels can go left or right. He went left there, free throw line. That's key for Rossford. You know, 6 points seems like about 12 right now, as low scoring as this game has become. And the clock is stopped, that helps him.
So Brendan Rebels snaps to the Lee's famous recipe chicken free throw line, able to connect on his, misses on his first to keep this a 6-point game.
And every shot right now from Rossford outside of 2 or 3 feet has been short.
Rebels' second shot is up, and it is good.
Rossford doesn't press much, so we'll see, as this fourth quarter wears on, will they make some adjustments?
Brendan Rebels had 11 points in the first half, was held scoreless in the third. Gets his first point here of the quarter.
This is where Pratt's most dangerous right there as a passer or a shooter.
And that's where the length of Vorse comes into play, as Phillips has done a nice job of hanging in the air and readjusting off the first defender. As you're going to see on the Carry Insurance instant replay. But from behind, here comes Vorse, sending that one about 3 rows deep.
And I think Vorse could be a college volleyball player as well. That was impressive.
Van Wert wants to take the timeout. We'll step aside as well, and we'll be back. Van Wert's on top, 36-31. You're watching boys high school basketball on WOSN. Welcome back to the Stroh Center. Van Wert takes it on the inbounds from underneath their own basket. We'll see what Coach Laudick was able to draw up there during that timeout for the offense. Gunter brings it back up top around midcourt. See Profit run the baseline, get down into the corner. Gunter on the hesitation move, gets it to Pratt. He lets Vorse fly by, goes up and one, as Aiden Pratt does a phenomenal job of getting the contact and finishing for 2.
In the fourth quarter, what's happened is Garrett Gunter has made the adjustment. When they pressure, he's blown by people and thrown bounce pass to the backside. That was a clinic again by Van Wert on sharing the basketball and attacking against the pressure of Rossford.
Aiden Pratt fired up, saying a couple of things extra to cause the officials to come over. Just want to tell him to calm it down. Pratt now going to take a couple of deep breaths before he lets this one go from the Lee's famous recipe chicken free throw line. Aiden Pratt connects on the end one, as this lead is out to 8.
And that's been an issue for me this year at the free throw line, but again, they've shored that up in the tournament action and made free throws. So all the things that cost the 7 losses, Van Wert has corrected this year. And Rossford doesn't need to shoot threes right now. They need to get the ball inside and go from there.
Now Smith's going to get called for the foul down low, working against Vorse.
I think they're getting ready to make the switch right now. at some point to put Pratt on course. Not yet, but at some point in this fourth quarter, he's going to guard him. Smith has done an unbelievable job on him tonight.
Here's Vorst down low, works against the double team. That time, Aiden Pratt just tried to kind of be a presence to let Vorst know that he was there, and Vorst ends up winning the one-on-one.
Yeah, and he shot over Smith that time. Pratt wasn't close enough, and that's going to be tough to guard that with a 6-inch height difference.
Wessel drops it down into the corner. Three-point try on its way for Smith. That one's no good. See Morrison come up with the rebound, pushes it up to Revels. Revels gets it back to Vorst. Vorst going to let the three-point try go. That one's going to be no good, but right into the hands of Morrison, who was in the right place at the right time, and he gets it back up for two.
And that's the hardest shot to rebound on the backside. No one expects an air ball. Morrison was in the right spot.
Gunter, he's going to split the defense. Passes it out. Morrison takes it off, pushes up ahead to Revels. Revels on the run out, able to get it in. No, as that goes off the front of the rim. Great job by Phillips not to foul. On the other side, it's Pratt with the big three-pointer from the Lee Kinsel three-point line.
5-point swing, Nate. Missed layup, made three. Pratt big time here in the fourth quarter.
Those are the types of plays that you want out of your big-time players. Here's Pratt working against Vorst. He gets the block. You mentioned it at some point. Aiden Pratt was going to switch. He'd become that defender for Vorst. That was the first possession we saw it, and immediately it pays dividends.
He's going to play football at Finley, but right now, basketball is his game, and he's been incredible here in the fourth quarter.
Wessel gets it to Smith. Uncontested layup, no good.
I guess we're even now. Both teams have missed point-blank layups.
Morrison with a full head of steam, as Gunter was not able to get his feet set on that one. So you're going to take a look on the Carry Insurance instant replay. Here's Pratt, who does a great job of going up and rejecting that basketball. And on the other side, Morrison with a full head of steam. Gunter just was not able to cut him off in time to pick up that offensive foul.
And both teams, you look out there on the floor right now, Nate, they're gassed. Again, all seniors on the floor right now.
Morrison able to connect on his first from the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken free throw line. As a Profit back into the game for Van Wert.
And Nate, when you have seniors, they'll do anything to get to the next game. You know, everybody's goal is to play one more game, and that's what they want right now, to get to that one game away from the state tournament, one more game away from Dayton. And it's a 2-possession game, 3 minutes to go. So many things can happen. We'll see how Van Wert attacks this pressure.
Gunter gets it up pretty quickly, does a nice find to Profit down low, but Profit not able to get that one. It looks like he might have rushed that one just a little bit off the glass. And we'll see what the call is. Looks like there's a little bit of confusion as you look at the replay. Profit all alone underneath. And it's going to be a jump ball call, so it will stay with Van Wert.
Yeah, and Rossford's got lucky here. There's been 2 missed lifts by Van Wert. Rossford's missed 1, Van Wert's missed 2. So again, fatigue's coming into play right now. All those little things.
And then we're going to have another foul. This one was on number 12. So now the out of bounds is going to move from underneath the basket to the sidelines. But the officials got together on that one. I'm wondering if they're saying the contact was prior to when he handed the ball off, which would negate that foul.
And both teams have 5 team fouls right now, so we're still 2 away from the bonus. And, you know, free throws are going to play a factor, even though there hadn't been many shots tonight. It's going to play a factor down the stretch.
Now here's Gunter, works up top, works against Revels. Revels gives him the left side. Gunter goes that way, little hesitation move, all the way in with the left and can't get it to go down. Right now, Van Wert is missing those easy layups, and you just hope those don't come back to bite him.
Yeah, that's been 3 in the last minute and a half, and every play matters, and you never know what's going to happen in high school basketball, and that makes this game so great.
Give and go to Vorst, works against Pratt. High shot, well off the mark. Smith comes up with it. 2 minutes left to go here in the fourth.
Coach Vorst is calling for a foul. There's one.
See who they whistle this one on. I believe it might be Rebels. And it is. That is going to be his third.
And for most of the year, Nate, Van Wert was a 50% free throw shooter. The last about 8 games, they got up to 60. They're still 60, which isn't great, but better. And they want to make sure they get the ball in the hands of their best free throw shooters. And on paper, it's Pratt. Pratt's their best free throw shooter. And after that, it goes down in the 50s and low 60s. So Pratt's in the middle of the floor. They want to get the ball to him as much as possible.
Here's Phillips down into the corner. Pass underneath the Wessel. Wessel tried to use the rim kind of as another defender. Wasn't quite sure what to do with it. Fortunately for Phillips, he's able to gather it in as Pratt went right into Vorst. And he's going to pick up the foul and make a trip to the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken free throw line.
That was a mad scramble there, and somehow Van Wert won the 50-50 ball, and they kept on attacking, which they've done. And Pratt gets the free throw line, and so there's been all kinds of things happen here, and not many points scored. But Van Wert has a chance to make this a 3-possession game with 1:35.
Pratt's first free throw is short.
And there's some fatigue. He has played unbelievable this fourth quarter, and he is gassed.
Second free throw on its way. This one is up and in. 43-37. We'll have a full timeout. Step aside as well. We'll be back on WOSN. Welcome back. Tonight's timeouts are brought to you by Metzger Financial Services, helping you plan your financial future. Visit MetzgerFinancialServices.com. Taking a look at the upcoming schedule on WOSN. We have tonight's game, tomorrow night, Crestview Marion local for a trip to state. On Saturday, Russia Jackson Center, Ottawa Glandorf Wayne Trace regional final. And then what the Van Wert faithful are hoping is their own game to decide whether or not they make the trip to UD Arena Saturday afternoon. They're going to have a foul. This one's going to go on Phillips. Look like a little bit of a tug of the jersey as Rebels is going around to that left side.
And I think Van Wert thought maybe a legal screen there, and they called a hold on Phillips. So they're trying to get the out-of-bounds play here, the Van Wert staff, and what they're running. They're going to get a sub here. This is going to be most likely either a lob inside for Vorst, so they're going to try to get Mumfries heading to the corner for a 3.
Connor Campbell coming into the game for Van Wert for the inbounds play. Rebels gets it, moves it up to Morrison up top. Here's Murphy.
Great defense by Van Wert there.
Going to feed Vorst. He has the double team. Murphy catch and shoot. This one short. Rebound ends up in the hands of Campbell. Rossford, full court pressure. Pratt ends up getting it. He's going to be fouled. Minute 10 left to go. Rossford running out of possessions here to get back in this one.
And if Van Wert can make free throws and take care of the ball, it's going to be awful hard. And they've done a great job on Murphy tonight. He's got 3 points, and he had 1 3, but that's it. And for someone that averaged 11 to hold him that far under that, that's the difference in the game right there. And the rest of the other 3 have got their average just about.
Pratt able to connect on his first from the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken free throw line. So he will get a second on this 1-and-1.
And Pratt's averaging 20. He makes his free throw, he's got 20.
Shot is up. This one's going to be no good. Morrison comes up with the rebound.
Rossford still has 4 timeouts. They have a lot of time here, but they got to go quick. And Van Wert's got to chase their shooters.
3-possession game as Morrison lets the 3-point try go. No good. Wessel chases down the rebound. Double team coming. Smith able to get out of trouble. Moves it up ahead to Phillips. 45 seconds left to go. Murphy going to cause the foul. Carson Smith will make a trip to the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken free throw line.
And you look up on, at the stats, 16% from 3 from Rossford. And ultimately, if Van Wert wins, that's going to be the ball game tonight.
Smith able to connect on the front end of the 1-and-1.
And all year long, it's been free throws and finishing games for Van Wert. In this tournament run, they've done those things well.
Smith's second free throw. That one rattles down and it's good. 46-37, 9-point game, 46 seconds left to go. Van Wert looking to shut down Rossford. Stamp a trip to the regional finals here at the Stroh Center.
Great defense there by Pratt.
Ellison goes to drive, has to kick it back out. Morrison for three. That one's good. Big three-pointer by Jake Morrison's going to lead to a timeout for Rossford. Van Wert with the 46-40 lead as Jake Morrison keeps Rossford's hopes alive. We'll step aside and be back on WOSN. It's time to spring to life with WOSN and TV44. Our annual spring funding campaign is underway now. Please partner with us by giving a financial donation in any amount. Our campaign goal is $50,000 by Mother's Day. Donate online at WTLW.com/donate. So Rossford coming out of the timeout, fouling quickly. 23.2 seconds left to go as Pratt will step to the free throw line.
And it's double bonus now, Nate. That makes a big difference. It's a different kind of feeling with double bonus. You got 2 free throws. You want to make it a 3-possession game right now. Make one of these 2. That's what you're hoping to do to make it more possessions.
Peyton Pratt lines up his first shot from the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken free throw line. Not able to connect. He'll still have a second. Lutheran West awaits the winner of this game with a trip to UD Arena on the line. Pratt takes a deep breath, lines up his second shot. It's on its way, and it's good.
That was the big one right there. Timeout, Van Wert.
Now it's Van Wert's time to take a timeout, talk about it. As they now have a 3-possession lead with 23.2 seconds left to go. So Mark, you've coached a lot of high school basketball. You've been in situations where you've had to coach here at the end. With a 7-point lead, 23 seconds left to go, what's the message you're giving your team?
Well, for Van Wert, they want Rossford to use much time as possible. They probably got to shoot a 3 here, but at 2, make it difficult without fouling. They're in the bonus right now, but don't let them shoot a layup. If you're going to foul them so it's 1-and-1. For Rossford, they need to run some action. They put a new player in, a 3-point shooter. So Van Wert's got to talk and switch everything here. For Rossford, they need a quick 3. They've got plenty of timeouts left. They got 3 left. There's a lot of time left, but the longer Van Wert can wait there, Nate's going to make him pick it up. That's huge here. They have to go full court.
Revels gets the basketball up quickly into the front court. Going to drop it off to Morrison. He's going to drive, gets to the lane, lays it in for 2. Rossford takes the quick timeout as they were able to cut this to a 5-point game. So you said a couple of minutes ago that it was going to come down to free throws, even though they had been a pretty clean game up to that point. And it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen. Yeah,
and Van Wert right now is above their average. They're at 67%. And again, every little play matters. Getting the ball in bounds here. Van Wert has timeouts. Every situation right now they're going over. What is your role? What should you do? Who's calling the timeout? Van Wert may try to go long here. That's been a staple of what they've done for a long time. And we stole a play called Jays, and they may do that here to go long. We'll see how Rossford plays it. If they put a guy on the ball, I think Van Wert will probably go long here. And we'll see if they do that or not.
Phillips hanging out over here by our table right in front of us. Looking to be that deep outlet if necessary. That's exactly what happens. He's left all alone, but a quick tie up underneath, and that's going to be a jump ball. Possession arrow favors the Cougars.
Van Wert got away with one right there with the jump ball, and it was their arrow. So that's good. That's good too, because at worst it's a jump ball. So it's still Van Wert possession. Time went off the clock. Time's a factor now, Nate, and that's where it's huge. Trying to get the ball in Pratt's hands.
Lob does come into Pratt. He's going to get fouled right away. 10.1 seconds left to go. So even with that tie-up, fortunate to keep it on the non-possession change, but also ran some time off and on the inbounds as well. It's now at 10.1 seconds. and maybe a couple of free throws are all that stand between Van Wert and a trip to the regional final.
Yeah, making both these would about do it 3 possessions. One, there's a lot of factors still in play, but the clock is the biggest friend for Van Wert right now. And I thought before the game, first one to 50 wins, and we're getting awful close to that, Nate.
You mentioned early about the run that Rossford has had, only giving up 22 points a game on this tournament run. Van Wert came out quickly, and I think really put Rossford on their heels. They hadn't seen an offense be able to score on them, and they got it done from behind the Lee Kinsel three-point line. And Rossford really just never recovered as Van Wert just continued to be able to kind of dictate the pace of play. 48-42, 6-point game. Morrison, three-point try on its way. That one's no good. Rebound comes down to Smith. And with 1.2 seconds left to go, we have some free throws that are just a formality as Van Wert is going to play for a regional title.
And it's an unbelievable feeling just to think a week ago at this time. Down 4-6 points to St. Mary's, on the ropes, season about to be over, made the miracle shot to win the game, and here we are. The Van Wert Cougars 1 game away from playing in a state tournament. Unbelievable. And the best player on the floor tonight was Aiden Pratt.
Carson Smith has had a heck of a game himself as he came out and drew the assignment of Derek Forst, and he stood tall down low with him all night long. Pratt coming over to help him every time Forst touched the basketball. But with 1.2 seconds left to go, all of that work looks like it's going to pay off.
Yeah, and I know how much time the Van Wert players spent on film this week. I saw it on Huddle. They put a tremendous amount of time into this game, and they didn't look ahead. There was no film put on about the other teams, and that's a tribute to Coach Loddick and Coach Miller, who've been on the staff forever. They made Van Wert focus on 1 game at a time, and that's what you do to have 1 chance to play for a state championship, and Van Wert has that opportunity now.
Smith's second shot from the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken free throw line is a no good, but it doesn't matter as with that final buzzer, it is official. Van Wert is moving on as they top Rossford 49-42, and they will play Saturday for a trip to UD Arena against Lutheran West.
And what I love here about this, Nate, Van Wert celebrated, but it's over. I guarantee you they'll enjoy this one, but in about 2 hours, they're going to be in the war room watching film because Lutheran West is a really, really good opponent.
We will step aside and we'll be back to wrap this one up. Stay tuned. We'll be back on WOSN. Welcome back. Check out highlights of tonight's Stolly Hustle Award winner on the WOSN YouTube page from tonight's game. And we had some discussions off air, and there was a lot of impressive performances when it came down to it. Tonight's Stolly Insurance Hustle Award winner really stood out above everybody else.
Well, first of all, shout out to Smith. He was phenomenal tonight. Played great defense, hit shots early, but when it came down to it in the 4th quarter, both offensively and defense, Aiden Pratt, 22 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. He's a college quarterback, but tonight he was the best basketball player on the floor.
When you need your best players to step up, these are the environments that you need them to come through in, and that is exactly what he did tonight. You called it all game. You knew at some point Aiden was going to make that switch, and he was going to take over that defensive duty, at least the primary duty, for Derek Forst, and that's exactly what happened. And I cannot be more impressed with the job that Van Wert did defensively on Derek Forst. With everything that he could have done to this game tonight, and they completely shut him down.
And that's a tribute to Van Wert's preparation. I know how hard they worked. They had extra time. They played Saturday. They had Sunday through Wednesday to prepare. They had a great week of practice, and here we have it. An underdog on Saturday, but when you get to this point, you only have to play great 1 time. And that's where Van Wert's at right now. And what a run to this regional final. It's been a long time for Van Wert. Since 1992, the Joey Gardner Quincy Cloud teams, that's the last time Van Wert's been to state, and there's been a lot of great teams since that time, but this is the opportunity that Van Wert has on Saturday afternoon.
So you take a look at the Elite 8 left in Division II. You see at the top of that bracket, Lutheran West at Van Wert here from the Stroh Center at 4 p.m. Dayton, Chaminade Julian, Jonathan Alder, Bishop Reedy, Fairfield Union, and a lot of great basketball still left to play. But we have a local team left here in the Division II run, Van Wert, who I think, when you start looking at when the tournament draw happened and all the teams that were getting the press and the publicity and the hype and everything that went into it, Van Wert was getting lost in that shuffle. You looked at an 18-7 record, you looked at a 5-4 WBL record, and I think, everybody was looking at Defiance. They were looking at St. Mary's. Great teams had great seasons, and everybody knew that it was going to have to go through them at some point. Van Wert took that challenge on, went through both of them, and now here they are, one game away from the state tournament.
Yeah, and people forget they had a really long football run that really banged them up a little bit. They had a late start, and now football and basketball is so compressed that those close losses prepared them. That can fragment teams when you lose that many close games. 7 games by a total of 20 points. It did fragment Van Wert. They stayed together and found a way late, and they had to hit a low point. The low point was at Elida, a game they could have lost late in the year. And that kind of refocused Van Wert, and they went to the film room after a win and rededicated themselves to the finish, and they've stayed with it. Even when they had a chance to bow out last Thursday, they didn't do it. And that's a tribute to Coach Laudick and the players and the amount of time they put in. These guys have been winners their whole life, on the floor, on the football field, and most importantly in life. And so they've been rewarded for their efforts tonight. I'm really proud of them. As the leader of Van Wert, this has been a fun night for high school basketball.
So that is just going to about wrap it up for us here at the Stroh Center. I'd like to say a special thanks to Jamie Beringer, the tournament director, running things. Everybody back in the truck for us as well. Our crew tonight, Ben, Megan, Cassidy, Seth, Clay, and Marshall doing a great job as always. We appreciate everything you guys do for us. We get the easy job. We get to sit out here, we get to watch great basketball, and we get to see great stories unfold like this Van Wert Cougars team. One final time for Mark Bagley, I'm Nate Garlock. Van Wert plays for a regional title Saturday night. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night, everybody.
Let's talk about the win first of all. You guys really tough early on, but then in the second half, you guys kind of pulled it away.
It's kind of how we thought the game would be. We figured it'd be a fairly close game. Rossford's a really good opponent, and they presented some challenges. Anytime you can put 6'10" out there, and we don't have 6'10", that presents some challenges to us. And there's a couple times where we didn't rotate well, and they got a couple easy layups on the backside. But I felt we did a really good job of containing their shooters. I think we lost them maybe once or twice throughout the game, and it is an exceptional job of our guys buying into our game plan again. We kind of throw a game plan out there early in the week, and we tweak it as we go, and these guys are all in once the ball's tipped.
It seems like another big man, but you handled him the parts. It's kind of the same thing. That game kind of followed a similar pattern where you guys kind of held him, and then offensively in the second half, you guys kind of pull it out a little.
Well, absolutely. I think we had our district games. I think it set us up really well for a game like this. When you have to guard Austin Parks, you kind of get a game plan to guard a Derek Vorst. When you have to guard a Braden Shaw, you have to guard the Rebels kid, their point guard, and he made some tough step-back shots that I don't know if we can guard any better. So, our district prep kind of set us up for tonight's game, and that's what we tried to sell to our guys. We got to guard this guy like Shaw. We got to guard this guy like Johns, and we even went back to some older scouting reports. A guy who played here the other night, we got to treat 20 like Lickley from Crestview. So when our guys can kind of picture that sort of thing, we get the buy-in and good things happen.
Coach, talk about your zone offense. You really didn't seem to be flustered at any time. You seemed to run whatever you wanted, get whatever you wanted offensively. Talk about your zone offense, what you were doing.
Well, what we were trying to do, what we saw from film is instead of passing out of the zone, if you dribble out, Vorst would eventually get himself away from underneath the basket, and then that would create driving opportunities, or we'd be able to kick it back to the corner. And we knocked down some threes tonight, and luckily we did that early. And then as the game progressed along a little bit, we were able to pull them out, and then we got some driving opportunities. Now I wish we would have made a couple more layups, but at the same time, we were able to, spread the floor a little bit. And anytime you kind of put this guy in the middle, he's really good at inside-outside player, and he can dribble. No discredit to any other big men out there, but there's some that struggle to dribble, and he's able to do that as well and attack the zone.
Hey, what about the mindset? It looked like you guys were the aggressors and the more confident team. Is that just because you guys kind of feel like right now you're on a roll, it's just kind of feeling good? It didn't look intimidated at all.
I think that we had a game earlier in the year that our coaches really got on us for our defensive intensity. And I think after that moment, after that film session, our practice intensity turned up, and I think that translates into our games. The past few weeks we've been playing super great defense, which leads to better offense because we got 5 athletes out there all the time. We got shooters in the corners. So I think with those combinations of our players, but the start is our defensive intensity right at the tip.
Ben, this has been a little bit of a lower scoring game than you guys have had in the last couple of weeks. Did you have a feeling coming in that you might have to win this one a little bit ugly?
Oh, absolutely. I think Rossford has held their opponents to like 25 points in the tournament so far. So, of course, we'd like to have it a little more higher pace, but I thought 50 was probably a pretty good number, and we were 49. I think that's what we ended up with. But I thought if we could get to 50, we'd have a really good shot. It's not that they can't score. I just felt it's more in our favor with, getting closer to 50 points just by the way they've been playing in the tournament so far.
Hey, talk about playing these big guys. I mean, it's got to be taxing, yet it doesn't affect your offense. I mean, what's your mindset?
My mindset is really just let the game come to me and attack them when I see opportunities. And then when they're sinking in, I got to step out and make shots for my team. And then when I'm making shots, they got to come back out. So that's when I get driving lanes again or kick the shooters after that. So when I see 6'10", it's not, oh, I can't go finish. It's either I go finish or I can pass to a shooter who's going to be open. So, yeah, that 6'10" doesn't really. I mean, great player. No, all due respect to Boris, but yeah.
Coach, talking about Nate Phillips, we talked about Rebels and how tough he was. But there were a couple of key possessions where he tried to go, and back-to-back times Nate basically took the ball away from him. Those were huge plays defensively.
Yeah, we wanted to put an athlete on an athlete, and Nate's got really good quickness, and he's got some good length, and he can elevate really quickly. So we felt that Nate, you drew a tough assignment, and he kind of rose to the occasion tonight, and he made a couple great possessions defensively. Where he's able to steal it or get a block shot, or even at the end of the third quarter, I believe he was able to, prevent them from scoring there by making a play, where they kind of had a little bit of momentum towards the end of the third quarter as well.
Can I ask the obligatory question about Rossford West? Somebody that might compare to the athleticism and pressing, the frenetic pace you saw today that prepared you, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, we saw them. They're a really good basketball team. I know that they played Ottawa Glandorf earlier this year, so I mean we've got some film ready to go, and I have a couple assistants who are probably already peeked ahead a little bit just in case we were given the opportunity on both opponents tonight. So they're going to present some challenges. They've got really good quickness out front, and they've got some athletes down low that. We're going to try to get a game plan together by 3 o'clock tomorrow when school's over. And, it's a very quick turnaround, for both teams. So I think whoever has the best game plan going in and can execute it, going to have a good shot at going to Dayton on next week.
For both of you, I mean, you guys weren't necessarily the favorite to get to where you are right now. But were there ever conversations amongst you guys in the preseason to say, hey, if we take care of business, we can reach this point and we can have a shot to win the day?
Early on with the late start with football, something that we've got accustomed to, especially from this guy right here. We told him early on that our legs kind of weren't going to be there early on in the season, and for us to go from a good team to a great team, we're going to have to go through some growing pains. And that month of January, we played 11 games. You lose 5 games by 2 points each, and you lose another one by 3. And these guys never wavered, or there wasn't doubt, that we didn't let doubt creep into our minds. We knew that we had the opportunity to, continue to go do good things. And, Aiden spoke of it earlier. There was a game where we had a tough film session, and after that, I think, the guys rallied around each other. I don't know if there was a conversation between them, but, we went to the floor the next day at practice, and the guys just got after it, and they haven't let up since. There's been no let up since then. So I got a great group of seniors. I don't think they're ready to be done. I've said it before to some of you. They've been in some very tough situations, not only in basketball but in other sporting events. That tough situations. They don't panic. They keep calm, cool, collected. They kind of look at each other and say, "Hey, we got this." And we kept telling them those close losses back in January, it's eventually going to pay off. So, did we think we would be in a regional final? I don't know, but did we tell them we could make a good tournament run? Absolutely. So, we're just thankful for the opportunity, and we're excited about it here on Saturday afternoon.
Coach, when was that meeting? Was that after the Delta St. John loss and you started ripping off consecutive wins?
It was the next game after that, which was against Elida. We went over to Elida. We were lucky enough to come out of there with a 3-point victory. And when, a couple of my assistants said, when you watch this film, you're probably not going to like what you see. As a head coach, there's so many things going on in a game, and when we put the film on the next day, it was like, yikes, that's not the effort, that we play with. And it wasn't just one person. It was a collective effort. And, since then, we've rallied the troops, and, here we are. But yeah, the Elida game over there was kind of the moment where we've kind of circled the wagons, and, here we are.
After all you've been through football, just what does it mean to be at this level on the basketball court?
It's a blessing. I think all the hard work that the 16 years and the rest of the squad has been through, it's paying off right now, and I think that we're all sticking together and we're playing really well, and I think we're all enjoying it. So one of our goals at the start of the year was cut down a net, and we've cut down 2 so far. So hopefully Saturday night we can get another one.
For those of us arriving late,
Yep.
defensively, what was the plan coming in with their personnel?
Well, we go back to our district week where we had to prepare for a 6'10", 6'11" guy, so we knew we would have to bring help on Vorst, and then we also faced a really good guard last Saturday in Shaw, and the Rebels, we kind of said they're similar to each other, so if we could keep Rebels in front, which we did for the most part, he made a couple tough shots that I don't know if we can guard any better than what we did, and bring help when we can on Vorst. He's a load inside, and there's times where we did it well, and there's times where he's a really good player that's going to go play at the next level and was able to score. So that was our game plan, and I thought we executed it pretty well.
Aiden, are you a better football player or a better basketball player?
Be honest.
Probably football. The blessing that I've been given to play both sports and to play in the regional finals for football and basketball. It's just a blessing to me. It's a blessing to our guys. It's a blessing. Yeah, it's awesome. And our community knows it. Our team knows it. So we're just playing basketball and having a lot of fun right now. And I'm glad we can keep this thing going.
I know he's a great football player and a great basketball player, but if you know him outside of sports, he's a great young man. He'll take the time to talk to little kids, and he's a good student in the classroom and is a very respectful young man. So that's all of our guys are. There's I don't have to worry about those things, but I get to coach a great group of guys, and he's one of our leaders, and he makes things easy for us at times. So I'm thankful for all of the guys that we get to coach 1 through 15. So.